There's a couple ways this video could be presented to you guys that would change your opinion of it, but I think the best way to do this one is for me to show you the actual ending first, like the last seconds of the key, because I really want to hear your guys' opinion on what happens in this key, especially with thinking about Season 3 moving forward. So take it all in right now. We see on the screen that this is a +10 Priory of the Sacred Flame. They have 8 deaths and they are double upgrading this key. But this is not a video without what we're about to see here. Down in the bottom left, you will see that there is a Feral Druid in the key who has done 1 million overall DPS, and as of the time of this recording, he is 618 item level, and it is his first Mythic Plus dungeon on the character on the season. This run was 5 days ago now at the time of me recording this. We have a tank who is in his guild. All right, this is why this happens. Could be more than just that. They could be friends. One way or the other, these people are pre-made of some sort. 3100 Blood Death Knight and a Feral Druid who is in Season 1 gear at the time of this run. We can only see his trinkets, but he's got a 584 trinket on. 1 of 8 veterans, so not even good for Season 1. Since then, he has done a few more keys, a couple not in time low keys. That's kind of scary on its own. Would love to see recordings of those because that ain't getting any better. It's actually after the key that we recorded, but his gear has not improved at all somehow, and they just don't upgrade an 8. Oh my god, I would love to see that one. 2 days ago, a similar situation, although now we're with the tank who's the one who's under gear. Look at this group, by the way. What is this guy wearing? He's got gear from Time Walking, 593 trinkets. I would have loved to see this key too. But we're not looking at those keys, we're looking at this key. And so I'm going to show you parts of this key, but that's really the discussion at its heart. You see that the guy did 1 million overall. In fact, let's go back to that. Everybody else does like 4 times more. The top damage dealer is 4.27. That guy absolutely carries this key. Even the mage gets blown out by him at 3.3, and even the tank blows him out too, 2.8. Okay, so that's pretty nuts. That's a lot of damage from a tank. But anyway, there couldn't be a more clear example of a carry. And the person who sends this to me does not include like the actual beginning, like, you know, the formation of the group. I'm going to assume that it's one of their keys. I guess by the fact that the druid has not done a key yet, it must be the tank's key, but there is a little bit of weird stuff right out of the gate here. We see the countdown end and then just nobody puts the key in, and the druid's standing next to it. They start like pinging each other, but I don't know. One of these people has the key. I'm not sure who. The reason I was going to not do it the way I'm doing it right now though is because if you watch this whole footage, you may never actually notice that this guy's the carry if it wasn't for the DPS chart. And even at times you can struggle to see it. Like, all right, he's doing really low damage here compared to the druid, but he's not really doing that low damage compared to the other players in the group. And I'm sure this kind of thing happens all the time in a 10. In fact, I would say he's doing really good damage for being 618. Like, okay, that's ridiculously low. But the reason that it's not noticeable throughout the whole run, and the fact that the person submits this to me not realizing it until the very end, is because he doesn't have actual health numbers on the screen. With health numbers, you would immediately notice this. You would see this guy is ridiculously low in terms of numbers compared to everybody else, but because all we have as percentages, all you see is the number going up and down, and his health doesn't really, I mean, like, look at the situation right now. Like, first of all, we just had our first death of the dungeon. It was not him. It was the mage who dies. Everybody else is kind of in danger, and he's just sitting there full health. It starts to become more clear, I guess, like the more you see the DPS chart, and I'm actually kind of shocked that it doesn't cause a problem throughout the key, because again, what was said here was that the tank snuck him in. That's the words. I don't want to misquote. I'm going to read the exact body of the email. Tank brought his guildmate in for a carry and didn't tell anyone in the description. I didn't check it until the key was over. And see, that's kind of the problem, right? So that, like, my perspective on this is on you as an individual. If this guy tries to sneak him in, well, I got to see what that means. I don't fully understand how he can sneak him in because he's not like hidden, right? He's in the group. He's one of 5 players. So if you don't know he's in the group, that means you're not paying attention. That's just all there is to it. Like, he's not hiding in some way. So this idea that he's somehow able to sneak him in is totally a non-starter for me. I don't buy this. I get it to some degree though, especially because this group does not need this key. This is clearly just some kind of vault key. I'm not even really sure why people are doing vaults at this point in the season. I guess besides helping the druid here, maybe they still need something, but regardless, it could be easy to fall asleep in a key like this, right? Like, you just think it's going to be a blast. You don't really think about it much. You just join the group and go, but it's still your mistake, right? It's still on you. Like, if you're worried about playing with a certain person, you better be worried about all 5 people in the group then. And I see this all the time to a lesser degree in higher keys. People talk about the group not being adequate. It's not fair. This guy's not carrying his weight or something like that, right? But a lot of the times the way that conversation proliferates is they're saying he's not geared enough or he's not prepared. He's not the right scorer. These are all things that you could have checked before the dungeon. The times when it's actually a legitimate complaint is when it's a 3.2k player and they don't interrupt a single time. That would be the time when you should be concerned and when it's not fair and when the systems are letting you down. It's very easy to look the part in Mythic Plus pugging and not be the same player. But again, this is not happening here. This guy has no keys. You would look at his health pool, you would immediately know he's under geared. It wouldn't take zero effort whatsoever. This is no ambiguity here whatsoever. The guy's wearing a gear that is not even 600 item level. It would stand out like a sore thumb, and many add-ons would help make it stand out. But again, given the fact that this guy is doing 5 times less damage than another damage dealer in the key and nobody says a word, I don't know. Like, who would care about it at this point? Would you break up a group over this, right? Like, these are the mentalities that I'm trying to think about, because we see so much selfish behavior and so much behavior that seems to get justified in the heads of the players. But if there's going to be a gray area, it's a gray area like this. It's something like this where I don't know how I would feel. You know, I personally think as the tank, obviously this would never happen to me because I don't do farm keys. But if this was me as the tank and it was somebody else that I somehow didn't pay attention to, I would welcome it. I think it would be fun. I think it would be interesting to see how it goes. I think it would be a hell of a challenge. Like, can I beat this guy? Obviously this tank does, but it's probably engaging to do this. I think it's a fun way to play the game, especially when you know the key is not needed for score, right? Because I think that's really the thing that everybody has to admit here. If we're talking about this conversation, you have to admit that this key does not matter. All that matters is actually finishing it. So there's no way that this guy is going to hold you back to that degree. And again, we are seeing a mistake that was not propagated by this player. This is asking for this to happen, by the way. I have no idea why the tank would choose to do this, but this is a really, 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 really bad idea. I'm not sure how this aggroes because the mage is behind the perspective of the player, but we see 4 players walk by it without it aggroing, and then the mob is back there. The mage dies instantly, and then the druid, who is made of paper, he gets put in the shredder as well. Mage even owns it. He says, fuck, sorry. So I don't know what he did, but he aggroed it somehow. And again, you're gonna have this happen. Don't walk that direction. That's a crazy way to have a mistake happen. But we are gonna get to this part of the dungeon before we have our first legitimate, this guy's just too low item level death. And that one's a crazy one. Actual full health and just gets one shot by the shields being thrown out. Look at it again. It's crazy. Here comes the shields. Actually just got one shot. I think he might have got hit by 2 of them or something, but one shot. Straight up one shot. That's the problem. If you're gonna have an issue with it and you're gonna say, okay, this isn't acceptable, that's the issue. I think it's more easy to be frustrated with this as the healer though, because like the DPS, they don't freaking care. The healer's actually stressing out. The only person in a low key who would be stressing out, because it happens again. The same mechanic goes out again and Behemoth goes down like a rowboat off the side of the Titanic. You can't even call him the full Titanic here. So I think if anything was to be frustrating about this key, it's more about the optics of it. And I think that's ultimately what we saw at the end. That reaction is about the optics. The player may not have noticed the whole time. I think at this point you surely have noticed, but whenever you do notice, it probably feels like a bit of a kick in the face. But there is legitimately nothing to show you guys. There's no wacky moments. There's no crazy chat. There's nothing. This is a joke mode key and it goes as a joke mode key should. And here we have more danger. You see again, the full group in danger here. Mage is another death. So we actually have 3 deaths from the mage to equal 3 deaths from the druid who's wearing bad season 1 gear. Like, that's kind of crazy, right? I mean, he's not even the guy who's standing out the most in terms of deaths in the key, but this is not the time you want to see it go wrong. Halfway through the last boss, 2 minutes left, and this guy just gets one shot. I'm pretty sure he gets meleeed here, which is the first like real strategical mistake I see him make the whole time. He's just in there attacking, and he actually goes and walks up and starts attacking those ads, and he gets one shot by that. That could be another facet of this frustration. It's like, all right, well, if the guy's 618, that means he doesn't know the dungeon. Probably, right? Like, you can't be sure of that. I think anybody who's 618 that comes into a dungeon this time of the season, they're probably a killer. Like, there's somebody who's really, really, really good at the game and they're confident. But I think most people at this range probably think the opposite. I personally think like anybody with that level of confidence in their play, either they're totally oblivious, which is probably pretty likely, or they are very, very, very capable. So 2 deaths at the last part of the fight, and again, doesn't even matter. Not at 12, so these deaths don't matter. This guy does ultimately die 5 times in the dungeons. I mean, he's carried in every possible way. There's nothing more that can be said. Almost barely beating the healer here, by the way. That was unsung. I did not bring that up in the first place. We don't notice that until the final moments of the key, and no commentary. That is the first comment of the group, and nobody comments. Thank you for group LeMayo. Those are the only other comments in the whole group. But I really need your guys' like detailed explanation of how you feel about this, because I think this is really a crucial moment. And again, I really have to impress this on you that if you are somebody who you think you would leave this key the second you figure out, it's very unfair of you. It's also unfair that the person snuck him in, but I really need some proof of that. Like, I can't comment on that because it just doesn't make any sense to me. Even in the video's title, it says unannounced carry. I get why you would say that, right? Like, it's fair if you announce it, quote unquote. Like, hey, I'm going to do this. Everybody good with it? That's a way you probably should handle it. But I think most people probably would not be good with it by asking that. So they would just end up wasting their own time doing it. And as we see here, by fact, this never needed to be announced. The guy probably could have not been here and they still would have double upgraded it. So I don't know. I mean, keys are just ridiculous. Seriously, that's another big standout moment here. What key level does it start mattering in your eyes? Is it 12 when you start saying like, oh, no way am I taking this? Or is it just a matter of pride? Is it just a little bit like, oh, well, I deserve the best, so I'm not going to be putting up with these people trying to create a moment of me carrying their friend or something like that? Like, I don't know. I get it. It sucks. It's not a great feeling. I just really want to hear everybody's thoughts on this because in season 3, this is going to cause some issues, I think. If there was problems starting, that guy's a part of the group. He gets a vote. You know what I mean? And the group leader is the tank, seemingly. So the group leader and the druid are 3 of the 6 votes. It's a very likely situation here that they're going to vote to finish the key one way or the other. When you think about it that way, you better be damn sure that you're playing with the group that you want to play with before the key starts. Otherwise, you might be leaving the key and getting the penalty. Let me know what you guys think. Cop is still, at the moment, at least as of me recording this, going strong. He is faltering, but he is so close to Pandaria. Really have to ask you guys to come and support him. Keep the chat lively. That's all he needs right now. In well under estimate. He was thinking it was going to take him 3 full days. It's not going to be anywhere near that. So thank you guys if you support him. I know a couple of you guys did donate to the charity. He's doing it for St. Jude's, which is awesome. But yeah, otherwise, stay tuned, man. We got a lot more videos to come. Thank you for watching. We will see you guys in the comment section and also in the next one.